Hi Gary, right, here we go. This is the little bit I was going to send you about our bee hotels that we have. We've got, they're really all for just one classification of bee, solitary bees or mining bees. And the reason that they're called solitary or mining bees is they don't really nest in colonies, individual nesters, but they all nest in holes. And all these hotels are simply holes drilled in various bits and pieces, or in bits of cane that I've cut up. There are two types that we're really trying to look after. One is the mason bee, and these will uh, lay their eggs in holes and but seal them up with mud. The other sort are leaf cutters, and they will also lay their eggs in holes, but they'll seal them up in leaves. They'll cut the leaves off various little shrubs and plants around, quite specific about which plants, and then seal them up, seal the holes up with bits of leaf. Quite ingenious. In fact, what they do is they'll lay one egg in the hole and put a bit of pollen in for the grub to actually feed on whilst it's actually maturing and goes through pupation into a proper bee. Then it will seal that up into a little chamber, and in front of that wall, it will actually lay another egg and another bit of pollen, and seal that up, and so on until it's filled the whole length of the hole. I'll show you an example later on. Quite ingenious. You may wonder how the one at the back gets out. Well, nature being quite clever, the one at the front, even though it's laid last, is in fact the first to hatch, because it's generally nearer the sun, hence the south facing wall, and it develops that little bit quicker. And when they're all ready, they just dig themselves out and fly away, and that's it. Anyway, mate, right, let's just pause this, and then I'll want to show you what I mean about what a bee hotel is. Right, so this is the bee hotel I've just put up. It's obviously got nothing in it. Well, not necessarily obviously, but it doesn't got anything in it at the minute. It's just a series of blocks I've drilled various holes in. The chicken wire around the front is because we have a woodpecker that comes along and likes to eat the content. So this is an anti woodpecker chicken wire. In fact, I suppose it's anti chicken woodpecker wire. But anyway, there it is. That's what it is. It's not been up very long. Next to it is one that I've done some time ago, early spring, and you'll see that this one's actually made out of canes. I've decided that's not such a good idea. It's far too labour intensive. But if you look quite closely, you'll see that they are all already being plugged up with mud, and each one of those canes that's been plugged up will have 5, 6, 7 odd chambers in there, each with an egg, and hopefully they will hatch out before too long. Actually, the one on the left here, that's not particularly good. It's got, although it's been filled a bit, it's nowhere near as good as this. You'll see the holes, by the way. That's Mark 1 anti-woodpecker. So that was far too restrictive. The bees can actually fly through here, so that doesn't keep them out. But you can see we've got canes in the bottom. Again, most of them have been filled. And wood blocks in the top, and they've been filled. So what am I making out of? Just a piece of untreated timber, like that. Actually, this is an offcut. And just cut, well, not down the grain, you want to cut that way, across the grain. And as I said, with various holes, and that's about 110 mil, something like that. And well, it can be as wide as you like, really. Yeah, simple as that. I just make a number of these, stack them up, put them inside a box, and Bob's your uncle. Well, sort of. Right, okay, so these are some of the canes. These are actually stems of something that Caroline was growing in the garden, God knows what. But they're hollow stem plants, whatever it is. and I just used them in the early days to cut them up, and the bees take to them quite readily. In fact, it's probably more natural than what I'm doing at the minute. As you can see, some of these ones have already been hatched out. You'll see from the end cap that the bee has already chewed its way out, and so all of these are now empty, even though they look full. Each one of these is a little chamber on its own, wrapped in leaf. There you go. So, I think it's quite amazing, really. I think nature wonderful. And the mason bees do exactly the same thing. It's just that when you break them open, they don't actually make a wrapper of the mud. They just use that to plug the ends up.